Hello, my name is OTTERRAK, and today we are going to be making a thing. What thing, you might ask? The thing of all things, thing. Thing is a hand that runs around the Addams Family home doing this and that and getting into all kinds of shenanigans. What we have to do first is we have to put magnets into his fingertips because my goal is to have him be magnetized to the shoulder of a fester that I'm building for a friend who wants to do it for Halloween. So I'm going to sew a fester cloak, and this is an addition to it that is going to be awesome. It is going to be a hand that looks like any other hand, except I'm going to paint it. So to start this out, we are going to throw a few magnets into the fingertips, hide them with wood filler so that nobody knows of the tricky magnetic thing that I've done in there, because we want him to look like he's holding himself on the shoulder. Once I got two of the bigger ones in, I thought, oh, I'm a genius. So I tried to find something metal, found my toolbox, which was completely metal, stuck it to the side of it, failed miserably. It didn't hold at all. So I decided, you know what, I'll just put a few more smaller magnets in the other fingers and see once if that won't hold better. Didn't work, still doesn't hold on its own weight. So my thought process is I'll just take and put some magnets in the cloak so that when I want to put it on his shoulder, the magnets from the cloak will be strong enough to hold the magnets on the hand and it should stay in place. And if that doesn't work, I'll figure something else out. But it is what it is. Time to move on. When it comes to painting, layers is important. If you look at your hand, look at it real close, there are all kinds of colors running through your hand. You've got dark spots, you've got light spots. If you look at the palm of your hand, it is very light compared to the back of your hand. The color that I'm starting out with is called a jute or ute or whatever color this is. It's a light tan, and we'll just put a nice base coat over this gray hand that we have here. See once if we can't get it to be very, very pretty, which it did turn out pretty, if that's a thing we can say. After we got the pretty ute color, I wanted to put a little darker color on, and that is territorial beige. And this color is very self-conscious about its state in the world, so we don't want to put it on just directly over top the whole thing. We need to put it here, we need to put it there, not full cover it, because we are building layers. That is what's important here. The layers, always layers. Now if we take a nice good look at your hand again, the back of your hand, if you look real close on the knuckles, they are not the same color as what's in between them. They're a little on the darker side, and they usually have a little more red in them, a little pinkish pink there. What we need to do here is take a little more of that territorial beige and encroach on its territory with a little nap fall crimson, little red bloodshed, I guess there. Mix them two together, put a little, well, what I use is Windex to water down these colors because I think it works good. Whether it does or doesn't, that's my business. Now that the paint is all mixed, I decided let's put it on. Let's put it right on the knuckle. Airbrush that stuff right onto them knuckles. Get that pink hue on this hand, then we'll flip it over and spray just a pile of it in the inside hand, because as I look at my hand, it's pretty red hand. That is how my hand is, so that's what I'm doing. And honestly, to be quite honest with you, I might have overdone the inside of my hand. Little too pink, little too crazy, but it is what it is. We'll run with it. Next thing that was on my list of things to do was to do the fingernails. Now, if you look at your fingernails and you think to yourself, you know exactly how to paint fingernails, then you are one step ahead of me when it comes to this. I had no idea what to do, not a clue. So what I did was I took a little more of the nap fall crimson and painted the pink on your fingernail and hoped that I didn't overdo it. And I do not believe that I did. So I took a little bit of the original jute color, because consistency, I guess, and did the cuticles and the white on the ends of your fingernails. And then I thought, oh no, it's not quite white enough. So I put a bunch of white in my color and painted on the pinky. Terrible decision. Absolutely awful decision, because it stuck out like a sore thumb. Moving on. What I really did here was just kind of put that lighter white on, really speckly, and dipped it in with a little of the darker brown and painted it on and pulled it toward the center kind of, and just blended it. I mean, I can't really explain how I did it. It's more of a feeling when it comes to some things, and other things are more precise. I can't really explain it, so we will just kind of move on from that. The next part is a little on the interesting side. The younger you are, the less veins you have in your hands. I don't have a lot of veins, or seeable veins, I should say, in the top of my hand, but older people do. Thing is older. Uncle Fester is older, so what we're gonna do is paint some blue on where the veins are supposed to be. And again, this is more of a feeling. I took an airbrush and put in some denim blue alcohol ink and barely let it come out of the airbrush. Slow and steady wins the race. And that usually takes a very, very fine hand. Anyone can do it. I'm not saying that you have to be a professional to do this type of stuff. Sometimes you just got to slow down and let a thin layer go over thin layer over thin layer. And it turned out absolutely beautifully. One thing I forgot to record, and it's annoying that I forgot to record it, but on the fingernails, I put New York Colors clear nail hardener, because your fingernails are shiny. They are not matte like the rest of your hand. They got a nice sheen to them. I put that on each one of the 5 fingernails. Then it was time to weather. Thing is running around the house, and he does not have pants on. I would imagine they don't have the cleanest house at the Addams Family home, so he's going to be dirty. Dirty, dirty, dirty. And really, weathering is the funnest part of making, because it brings it to life. And when it comes to weathering, the most important thing to remember is that dirt and grime doesn't think about where it needs to be. It just is. You think, yeah, the dirt's gonna find its path into the creases and divots and dents of things. That's obvious. Always put it there, always. But also it's gonna be on the high spots too. You just throw it on, take it off, get around your fingernails, get over your fingernails, get into all the little spaces. And if there's a spot that decided to be a little dirty and it was the highest spot on the thing that you're creating, it's fine. Leave it alone. Don't overthink it when it comes to weathering. It's the funnest because you just throw it on, wipe it off, put it on, wipe it off, smear it on, wipe it off. So there you go. That is how you take a 3D printed hand and make it look like Thing from the Addams Family. Dirty, grimy, and human hand looking thing. My name is OTTERRAK, and this is the Creation Destination.